Hey everybody, this is going to be an overview of Spacebase DF-9. It's a new production, well, yeah, it's a new production by Double Fine Entertainment. Um, they presented this game, well, they presented a demo a little while back, just kind of as a promotional thing, and they decided that they wanted to make a full game out of it. So, right now it's on Steam. It's in early access alpha at the moment, and it's about 25 bucks. I think if you have certain other Double Fine games, you are able to get a discount, but the details on that are iffy. Some people are getting discounts, some people aren't, so I really don't know. I don't own any other Double Fine games right now. Anyways, this is the start screen, obviously, and you use your little pointer here to decide on what part of the galaxy you'd like to start. Up here in the corner you can see stellar density, warp gate proximity, threat factor, and magnetic interference. Essentially, the stellar density is how much matter is around you, so you can build more things with a higher stellar density. The warp gate proximity just means how often people will be coming by and talking to you. The threat factor is how many hostiles are in the area, and the magnetic interference affects how many derelict vessels you encounter. So I'm gonna look for something that has a decent, oh look at that, there's extremely high somewhere around here. There we go, really close to a warp gate, fairly low threat factor, high density, and low magnetic interference. So that looks pretty good to me. I think we will launch there. And that is in the Yummy region. The 21-35. So yeah, here you go. That they tell you all your stuff. If you really want to read it, you can pause it. But it's essentially what I just said. So we'll accept the region and deploy. Obviously this game doesn't take itself that seriously, but we'll see how it develops. I mean, all these things are alpha, so anything can change at any point. So this is how you start out. As you can see, your little notifications here. My guys start with 8 minutes of oxygen in their suits. So the first thing you do is you come over here to the roster, and you can see how skilled they are in each job. So there's builder, technician, miner, security, bartender. They all mean essentially what you would expect. I mean, pretty self-explanatory things. The star ratings, obviously, more stars you have, the better they are at that. So like this guy's good at building and he's good at security. He's probably not a good tech. I found that 2-star techs tend to break things a lot rather than fix, and he's crap at mining and bartending, and you get the idea. So right now I'm gonna set them all as builders because I need to put together a base before these guys run out of oxygen. So we'll do that, and then we will construct our first room. And I think I'm gonna build it over here. That way it makes mining a little bit easier, because they won't have to travel so far. And that right there will be my airlock. And then I will create another room that can hold at least 3. I'm gonna go with 4 oxygen recyclers. Yeah, why not? Oh, what's going on? There we go. So that can hold 4 recyclers. So obviously all I'm trying to do right now is put together a base so my guys don't suffocate. And once they begin to build, oh, is that? No, I can't click on that yet. Once they begin to build and there's some flooring, you can designate the zones. So like, I'm going to zone this as an airlock, I'll zone this as a life support room. There is, here in the construction menu, objects are relational to zones and they'll get taken down if they're not in the right zone. So you have airlock zone, life support, your pub, power reactors, matter refineries, and residencies. And that's it for now. So I'll let them see. I can select, select the floor, and now I get this little menu, and you can see I can tell it whatever zone it's going to be. This is going to be life support. This one is going to be an airlock. And once they get the walls up, I'll be able to tell them which where to put the airlock doors. You can actually, since that's not a bad spot, I can put the spacesuit locker right here. That's kind of an important piece. But they need to finish the walls. Over here in the upper right hand, you can see there's a pause, regular, double time, and triple time. So when you're sitting around waiting for people to build things or mine materials or whatnot, that you can just speed up time, help make things go a little bit quicker. So now I can add, oops, go back, doors. I can add an airlock door here. So that'll be good. And then I will have to add another airlock door soon. Oh yeah, confirm it. And then let them build a little more. And now that they have that wall up, I can construct that final airlock door. A little funky there with the graphics, but hopefully once they build it, yeah, that fixes it. And now we have everything except for our oxygen recycler. So we will add a single oxygen recycler right there, I suppose. And they will get on building that. Oh, and also a very important thing is to always have fire extinguishers around all equipment. I put them in every room just because things catch on fire a lot in this game. There are a lot of dangers in space, let's say. So it's important to be prepared. So now I have a functioning base, and if I take down the walls here with this button and select the O2, you can see that yeah, you can see the oxygen rising there. So it'll slowly rise, and then it'll come to a point where it's actually habitable, and my guys will go in there whenever their suits are running out of oxygen. And they still have 4 minutes, so they should be good. In the meantime, I'm going to demolish this little seed pod, because that'll give me a pretty good amount of, what do you call it? It'll give me a good amount of matter, and matter is important. That's how you get everything done. I'm gonna send him as a tech. I guess I'm just gonna have a crappy miner for now, but that's not a big deal. And we'll speed things up for a minute. So there you go. We've gotten rid of that, and oh, I don't actually have. So my next addition, let's say, is going to be a refinery room, and we only need it, yeah, that big. So that's going to be my refinery room, and I'll allow them to construct that. And as you can see, the oxygen sensors tell you how much oxygen's in each room. It's usually pretty self-explanatory. People start freaking out if there isn't enough oxygen, so you'll know. It's not like you really need to keep that. And as this guy's building this, I'm going to zone it as a refinery. And once he's got the floor done, I can put in the actual refinery. Whoops. As far as I can tell right now, the fusion reactors are completely unnecessary. They're not implemented. They don't really do anything at this point. You can build them, you can make the room for them and all that, and it looks like a really cool room, but it's completely useless at this point. So that's something to think about. I'm sure they will fix that soon enough, and people will be able to generate their own power. But there you go, that guy's gonna build all that up. And then I can also, whoops. Okay, I do have a miner. I can now zone these asteroids to be mined. And so, oh, I didn't notice that. So these are like your, as I was saying, like you get more encounters the closer you are to stargates, or I think it was something like that, a stargate or a warp gate or something. So this is an encounter. I mean, these people are in some unmarked propulsion pod. Greetings and salutations. We're looking for a place to crash for a while. Do you have a good defenses aboard? We have journeyed far too long without a proper rest. We no longer want to travel. We've heard you have a surplus of matter. Is that true? Sounds interesting. Please let us in. And yeah, sure. We have just enough space to accommodate you. We'll allow these guys in. And it's not their first space rodeo. So, let's see. I only got one guy. That's fine. Let's see. Is he good at anything? He's a good tech. So that means that this guy can become a miner. It is important to note, too, that you have an O2 capacity here. For each one of these oxygen recyclers, you can support up to 3 people. So I'm going to need to build another recycler soon. If you have a 1 or 2 over, usually it's not a huge deal, because people are in and out so often that it won't make or break your base most of the time, but it is good to be prepared. And since I already have over the capacity, I'm going to build another. My next construction is going to be a residency hall, and this should be fairly large. I want, yeah, 8 space beds is probably going to be, whoops, I screwed that up. 8 space beds, there we go. That way I don't have to mess with it until later. If you take a look in here, you can see that you can either construct the full room like I've been doing, or you can do walls on their own, floors on their own. As you get raided, things explode. You will lose walls, and people will get sucked out into space as a result. So, I mean, it's nifty when you say I lost that wall, I could just add another one in and fix my base. You can also demolish existing items and erase. Like if I didn't like this, I could erase that and then add in walls. Whoops. Alright, I totally screwed that up. So I will have to erase one more time and then add the floor in. Yeah, fix that wall. Confirm. So yeah, you can do that. One thing to note is you can't seem to erase items like that. You can't erase beds or refineries or anything like that. You just have to wait for it to be built, and then I think you can destroy it after. Yeah, you can schedule it to be demolished. That's what it is. Okay, so we will speed things up a little bit here. Let them get to work. I am going to zone this as a residence. And once that is complete, I'm going to add a standard door in here and allow, well, begin to build beds. Yes, people's skills increase, as you probably just saw there. So there are 2, I think there is an experience point and then a level. These stars show your level, but you can also gain experience points, which are usually noted in these. Builder skill is increased, and there you see. Because he's increased a bunch, but he's still only a 3-star person. The farthest I've gotten somebody so far is a 5-star, and that's usually what the builders, because they are working very hard in the beginning, especially with these small crews. I think I'm going to assign him to technician. I've noticed that the technicians team tend to slack off. Like you can see here, this matter refinery is quite heavily damaged. It's only at 36%, and it's only been around for, you know, it hasn't been around that long. So obviously the techs aren't that great. I don't know if it's a bug issue or if it's an AI issue. I do see them working on it quite often, but they don't seem to do that much improvement. So you usually have to have quite a few techs. The majority of my crew is usually technicians. So obviously I ran into another encounter. Greetings, we are from the 6th Galatrovnikon sector in the Vorpulon quadrant. We've just awoken from our cryogenesis after 10,000 years or so. We're cruising around in autopilot. We need a place to stay. Do you have room aboard your base? Vorpulon quadrant. They make the best nutrient paste out there. We'd love to have you aboard. Nutrient paste. Although we haven't had any in 10,000 years, we can bring aboard our recipe codes on board. We can bring our recipe codes on board for your replicators, though. Sorry, I'm a terrible reader. I read things that aren't there. I'm one of those people that like speed reads things, so I don't actually read what I'm doing most of the time. I think, yeah. I don't need that many builders. But yeah, I'm usually terrible with things like that. I make a ton of mistakes and then... Jeez. My cats are going wild. Sorry about the background noise. But yeah. We will speed things up here so the builders can get on finishing up that new residency hall, because our people are probably sleeping on the floors. Yep. Your citizens are sleeping on the floors. You need to construct some beds. And my machines are in poor condition because nobody knows how to work these things. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot. See, this is something that... Whoops. This is something that I always forget. Always put a fire extinguisher in, and then I end up finding a fire in one of my rooms, and nobody can deal with it. They try and stomp it out, but that's usually a failure. I can now produce some space beds. I don't think there is any use to the space dressers or rugs yet. They may change that in the future, but I don't know. So far, they just are decoration to me. But they do look nice. Looks like they need to go inside for a minute. No, and they built that second oxygen reactor finally. Okay. And now, okay. We need to construct a door. I completely forgot about that one. So we will add a door. Let's just put it there. That should be fine. Confirm that. And now they can go in and build those beds so people can actually sleep. That's good. And a new encounter. Hey there, how you doing, eh? We were just shuttling past your base and figured we'd stop by and give you dudes a shout. Looks like you got a pretty sweet base there. Nice going. We'd be happy to pitch in and help you guys do some chores. Get done, crash for a while. What do you say? If not, no biggie. You sound like a friendly crew. That's just what we're looking for in this base. Welcome aboard. Far out. Yeah, we'll just gather up our stuff and hover on over in the sector. So, well, I suppose I'll wait for it to show up to really explain it, but it seems like you can also gather by accepting crew. Sometimes you'll get like pirate or raider encounters, and sometimes you'll get these parasite things will pop in, and I believe they come aboard from crew that's, you know, traveling abroad or whatever, but they're called space parasites, and they look like giant millipedes or something like that. And they will kill your crew, so be very aware of that. They're definitely there. I don't think there's any way to really prevent them at this point. There's no way to like body scan you or anything like that. But there's no reason for them to be sleeping on the floor anymore. There are beds. But hopefully in the future they'll allow some sort of body scan feature, which would be neat, you know. Prevent parasites from entering your room or your base. So now that I have that done, I am going to build myself a little pub. And this will obviously be zoned as a pub. Again, I find no reason to construct the reactors at this point. They'll surely implement something later, but you can see it's quite a large building, and it looks really cool. I'll show you the zoning once this gets built up a little. Jesus. These cats are going wild. They're running all over the place, jumping off of things. Oh wait, no. I was going to show you the reactor room. So you can kind of see here, it's got a really neat high-tech look to it, with all the red and the dark colors. You can also take a look at the other rooms. I really like the art style. It's very nice. I feel like the character models could use a little bit of work. I mean, most people have some pretty solid rigs nowadays. Most people can handle a decent character model, especially on this scale, but I understand that they want to make it more accessible to other people, you know, people that aren't going to spend all that money on a gaming rig or whatnot. But that's what sliders are for, and you know, you can always turn down your resolution or whatever. So this is the pub. It's very pretty with the purple lighting. And in the pub there are like signs you can put up. Get a pizza sign in there and a burger. Put the burger on the other side, because fries are the most important part of every meal, right? And oh yes, I probably should show you this. You can actually flip your objects around. I kind of screwed myself. I didn't realize that the signs take up space like that. But yeah, you can flip objects, so that kind of gives you a little bit of freedom. And I think, oh, well, my best builder is a good bartender, and I can't give away the tech. I could do that. Yeah, that's probably gonna work out fine. Obviously I don't have any security because I haven't gotten any security risks. I see no real reason to keep security around, because when a threat appears, it's very obvious. But maybe in the future you'll actually need to keep standing security. But otherwise you can always just go security, you know, and just be like doo doo doo, and deal with any threat that shows its head. I need to put a door on here so people can actually get in. That will be good. Okay, I'm gonna end this video here, and I will be back later with a little bit more of the mechanics of the game. So I'll have a little bit on derelict vessels and exploring them, and hopefully fighting a few raiders or something here or there. I have a couple other videos coming out too, some more Kerbal Space Program. I have that SwiftTech H220 that I've been using, and I have all the data. I just need to put all the video together and actually produce it. But I will be back with those videos as well. So stay tuned if you'd like to see any of that stuff, and as always, thanks for watching.